Three collectors from three different perspectives come together for a weekly show that catches you up on the hobby you love. Hobby news, hobby drama, insider talk, and everything from collecting, investing, and selling. Welcome to Inside the Hobby. Welcome to Inside the Hobby. I am Frank AZHP, and we are slowly getting to the point where we are releasing these weekly. For now, it's bi-weekly, but you will take what we give you.
Damn. Hi, I'm Brian with Gray Street Sports Cards. Welcome to Inside the Hobby. Baseball Hall of Fame was just announced of who's going to be on it, and unfortunately, we only got 5% of the vote this year.
So we didn't get it.
No, we never did it. Hi, everybody. It's Nicole from the Phoenix Card Shop. And guess what? I just want to shake.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Copyright strike. We're going to get it. And it's all going to be your fault, Nicole.
Oh, as long as it's not, 15 seconds, I think, or 10 seconds?
It was 8.
Who knows? We'll see.
Under 10 seconds, boys. Under 10 seconds.
Hell of a show. We've got discussion on breakers being exposed for prices with a new site or Instagram or both. The Baseball Hall of Fame official list, official, not nominated, but will be inducted or have been inducted. We've got WWE Controversy stuff, our opinions and thoughts on both the hobby basis and predictions for Super Bowl players. Some stuff about Card Collector 2, who knows, we'll see. And we got 2 different mailbag questions. So, Brian, you want to start us off? What do you got going?
Sure thing. I wanted to talk here a little bit today about the BreakCompCards website. It's a free-to-use website that just came out. They got an Instagram account. You can go follow them there, but also go to their website as well. What it is there for is to essentially give everybody that's going to be buying into breaks an idea of how much you're going to pay per team, per breaker. And lately they've been doing social media posts kind of like saying, here's the lowest and the highest breakers to go from, so you can kind of know who is the cheapest breaker to kind of join breaks of, based on product and things like that. And then they've been done it for other things like teams and so on. You can go to the website and you kind of search through. It has a lot of data in there of them being able to kind of filter out for teams, product, sports, the breakers, you name it. So you can kind of if you are into breaking, know who's the best value for it. But they also came under a little bit of controversy because of the fact that both Little Poleman and Card Collector 2 reached out saying that they had incorrect data. Now, this happened because when their product of where they were listed on, unfortunately, they were on the high end instead of the low end of it, therefore kind of making it seem like to steer people away from their breaks. Card Collector 2's reach out for it was basically sounding like they said they didn't break this product. And then Little Poleman said those prices are not correct. The account had the receipts for it and followed up showing that they had screen grabs of Little Poleman's breaks as well as Card Collector 2 breaking the product they said they didn't pull. And therefore we're like, here they are. Here you guys are breaking this product. Here's the prices. They add up to the price we are saying. And then it's been radio silence from those accounts since that point. So that was kind of the main topic of it, is that this site has come out. It's making some breakers a little bit uneasy, unhappy. Obviously, we know breaking has been kind of in a grip, a not very good area lately, depending on what you're into. But this site, I've found, if I was into breaks, I would be using it. I'd want to know where my best deal is, and therefore free information to know who to go into. This is going to kind of hold them a little bit accountable to say, if you're going to sell a product, are you really getting a good value by paying that much into it? But overall, I felt like, when you go radio silent, that's usually one of 2 things. You're maybe, 1, they caught you and you're pretty much saying, yes, that looks like us, can't really deny what we see there. Or 2, Maybe there's something that's going on the back end, we don't know, but all Dan the Card Man, Sports Card Radio, these guys all kind of covered it as well, kind of mentioned in it. But I wanted to kind of pass it off to you guys as well. What do you think of this site, first and foremost? But then, two, the controversy they got going on right away where big breakers are kind of reaching out to them saying, you got the wrong information. So what are your thoughts on that, Nicole? What do you think?
Who cares? Seriously, who cares? This is... If they were, like, stealing stuff during breaks or hiding the hits, that would be something, but complaining about your money, that's just so lame. Lame. There, you've gotten my opinion. That is...
I mean, I get it. Like, yeah, it is, it can be, it sounds like, yes, they're complaining about, like, things, and obviously if they're making that money, that's, some of it's a lot of money in there. Like, I believe the one was, like, Heritage or something, or not Heritage, Prestige Football for the Kabooms, and it was, like, a $10,000 for all the teams added up for Little Pole Man, which, you think about that product, you're like, all you get is the Kaboom, and the rest of the stuff, is it really worth paying, everybody paying 10 grand for? But what do you think of it, Frank? Pass it off to you and hear about a site that's breaking this stuff and making it newsworthy.
I don't break. I won't break. I don't care to break. I think it's it's like one of the worst return on investment strategies that you can ever have in the sports card market, and I think a lot of people lose their money and get out of the market because of it. I know that's definitely not going to be a popular thing for some people to hear, because there are people that are very fond of breaks, and then there are people who break themselves, and of course will maybe feel a little defensive on that. But so, like, my opinion, I feel, is maybe even irrelevant a little bit here, because I don't break. I never have done a break, and I never will. Anything that is going to tell the consumer competitive pricing, it's very difficult for me to be annoyed at or be mad at. So as far as I'm concerned, BreakCompCards, I haven't visited their website. I've seen the Instagram, and I've seen plenty of their stuff shared on it. It's good for the consumer, so I'm okay with that. If they are getting their information legitimately, and if they even have proof to back up where they're getting their information, and they have the receipts, I'm sure they're going to be screenshotting everybody at this point who prices it out. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the only people that win from all this is the consumer. So, good. I mean, if you're if you might as well try to save all the money you can on a break, because you're probably going to get ripped off on your break anyway. But exactly. I think the bigger problem here is if people like these breakers are saying, no, this information is wrong, but then they are being proven wrong with actual receipts, I think that's probably even a bigger concern. Because what somebody does with their own money is one thing, but when you have people in the hobby saying one thing but doing another, I think that's, especially people who are well respected or well liked, I think that's a greater issue. So
true.
Very true.
Very true.
Yeah. And like, I looked at the site for a while as well. It's a little clunky to use site. Obviously, it's in its beginning phases. I'm not like sitting here saying like, don't go use it because of that. Like, but it's one of those where, like, obviously, if you are going to go use this site, just understand there's going to be some learning curve just trying to get to understand it. They definitely probably want you to sign in, create an account, but everything I saw was free. You could do so. I just haven't done so myself because I have no interest in buying into breaks either. I'm interested to see what this site will do in the future for breakers. Like, if they're starting to get okay, everybody's going to the low end guy, does it make them start to bring their prices down to make breaking more realistic?
Competitive pricing. Good for the consumer.
Good for the consumer, makes it better for us. And let's face it, in a hobby where you feel like every 5 minutes somebody's scamming us or doing something to take our money even more.
Yeah.
It's just nice to see somebody that's like, hey, we want to hold them accountable and start driving the prices down, because there's really no reason some of these are that high.
Right. Regarding, what is it, BreakCompCards, what is their gain here? Like, they don't sell anything, and don't get me wrong, like, I'm okay with this. I think this is good. But is there any way for them to get a return on investment for them for like making the site and doing the Instagram and keeping track of all this? Like, are they selling a product or service or anything? I don't know.
I don't know yet either. And at the moment, like with their current situation, I think I did see like with both Dan and Sports Card, I think they reached out to him to kind of find out what their goal is. So they're at this point, it's just kind of like unknown as to what it is. So that's
for the
it
hobby,
could be find out what it is that they want. Like if they're just doing this as a hobby project because they want to like make things cheaper, great. If it's for other reasons, we'll find out, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, with that, I think we're going to move on to our next story. I'll pass it over to Nicole, who's going to talk a little bit about the Baseball Hall of Fame.
See, I love Hall of Fame. I love Hall of Fame stuff here. And for any sport, because it's finally good when you see somebody get in for their well-deserved time. So we got Adrian Beltre got in. We got Joe Mauer and Todd Helton. Beltre and Mauer were first-year ballots, and which I was so surprised Mauer got in. I thought Beltran was the sure lock, but I didn't think Mauer would get in. So I'm very happy to see that. And then, of course, Todd Helton, Colorado's strongman. 17 years in one place is a long time.
Yeah.
For a team.
This is pretty much you two. I don't know much about baseball. It's current day baseball. So, I mean, they're names I've heard and I've seen on SportsCenter. But all you guys.
I mean, I was also a little bit shocked to see Mauer. I think seeing his name come up with being a first-time ballot, I was kind of assuming he might be a second year. There was a big push I was hearing from a lot of people of hearing Billy Wagner to get in this year.
And missed
he was
by
close.
4 votes. 4 votes.
He was really close. And when you look at, like, obviously he's a closer. Billy Wagner's a closer versus Joe Mauer, a catcher, and also Joe Mauer is like, Mr. Minnesota. That was like his kind of thing.
Todd Helton was Mr. Rocky.
Yeah. But I believe Joe
Beltran's
Mauer was like grew up in like the Minnesota area though, wasn't it?
Correct. It's the first person into the Hall of Fame that is from the same state and played for the same team whole career.
There's probably not a lot of Rockies in the Hall, right?
Number 2.
There isn't. Yeah.
Helton is number 2.
I know one actually.
Let's see if you can get this, boys. Let's see.
Walker.
Correct.
Larry Walker.
That's it.
Larry Walker. Oh
wow!
first.
Look at Frank with the baseball.
I know.
Are you floored or what? Well, it's because he's from the '90s, so.
Correct. It's National League, so I love it. So
there was somebody who a lot of people got snubbed. We were discussing it earlier. He was in his last and final possible year of
Sheffield.
Yeah, Gary Sheffield, which is a guy I grew up with in the 90s. So, you feel that he should have gotten in at some point, or do you think that
he missed it by 38 votes?
Mm-hmm. I'll say Gary Sheffield's kind of falling into that same category as. He's basically kind of like being snubbed like with some of the other guys that are on that list of like the 500 that are not getting in. So you're talking the McGuire, the Bonds, the Sosa, all those kind of guys.
Did he ever admit or get caught from steroids?
I don't recall he ever did, but I think there was a lot of assumption.
It was a suspicion.
Yeah, he was a
cannot deny or confirm. Yeah. So the other people who did not get in on the list, Andrew Jones, which was the other shocker, because I thought Andrew Jones was going to get in before Mauer.
Yeah.
I like Andrew Jones.
Yep. Carlos Beltran. Didn't think that was going to happen. A-Rod. Manny Ramirez.
Wait,
Chase
what?
Up. Yeah, A-Rod.
A-Rod's still eligible.
Oh, yeah.
He got 134
but he won't get in
votes.
because of steroids, right?
True.
Yeah, he and Manny Ramirez are
the
next 2 on the list, and they're not going to get in.
And then there's Chase Utley, Omar Vasquez, Jimmy Rollins, which Rollins I thought would have gotten more votes because he is a former MVP.
Yeah.
Bobby Abreu, Andy Pettit, Mark Burrell, Francisco Rodriguez, Torrey Hunter. Now, I didn't think he'd get that low of votes. He only got 28. I was so shocked at that one. David
He was
Wright.
what, outfield?
Center field for
Center
the Twins,
field.
yeah.
David Wright got 24 votes. Jose Batista, Victor Martinez, Mr. Colon, Matt Holliday, Adrian Gonzalez, Brandon Phillips, Jose Reyes, and James Shields got no votes. And they were at first-time ballots, those two.
So yeah, Jose Batista, Martinez, Colon, Halliday, Gonzalez, Phillips, Reyes, and Shields. They all fell off. They're not going to be eligible for future. Not really a surprise with any of those guys, I feel like. I mean, Matt Holliday was a pretty good player, but he kind of like Adrian Gonzalez, but they were on a lot of really good teams as well. They didn't have, I think, the numbers that I would say a Hall of Famer usually does. They're very good all-stars, played some really good years, but the way the Hall of Fame goes in baseball of these votes where they'll do sympathy votes for some guys, which is why some guys, it's very rare to see a guy get 100% of the vote, which I think is also kind of
twice.
Annoying. Yeah, and it's just kind of like you have certain guys.
We might see next year 100% of the vote. Ichiro.
Yeah,
who
that's
else
part
is
of where
next
the
year?
other things.
Who else is eligible starting next year?
CC
CC
Sabatha is the other major name.
Will he get in?
The next 5 years will be some pretty big names coming.
Like Ichiro will get in, clearly. Will CC get in?
Yes.
Okay.
He's
first ballot
He's got
type of
250
thing?
wins, 3,000 strikeouts, Cy Young a winner.
Okay.
So he's probably going to get
Series
there.
MVP.
Yeah. And then 2026, this year doesn't have as many big names. Cole Hamels and Ryan Braun are the two. Braun's not probably
Braun's not going to get it.
He's not going to get it.
No.
2027 is Buster Posey and John Lester. Posey's going to be in.
And Lester's getting
wow.
in.
I'm
Lester
so...
will, unless he has to throw a pickoff to
any
first.
of
If
these
he has to
guys.
throw the pickoff to first, then it's not going to happen.
Lester is God. Leave him alone. Lester is a god. Leave it alone.
And then 2028 is going to be the big year of Pujols and Molina.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a big one. And then 2029, if he retires, it will be Miguel Cabrera. So those are some pretty big years coming up with some big names. So that's also meaning
plan
looking
ahead
at this
getting your
current
grading done for those.
Yeah, but I mean that also is it'll be interesting. Billy Wagner was close. I think that's going to be a thing. I've seen something on Andrew Jones. I saw a guy on YouTube. He did this deep dive on the Hall of Fame of Hall of Famers that will be on track, and he's pretty confident Andrew Jones is on path that has been similar to how
the other first ballot
Helton,
people next year is also Dustin Pedroia, Ian Kinsler, Felix Hernandez, and another Colorado Rocky, Troy Tulowitzki.
Yeah, I don't see Troy getting in though. Troy had a great career at the beginning of his year, but he had so many injuries that he didn't seem to... He was one of those guys that he didn't finish his career. Injuries, unfortunately, derailed him. He was a great player, but when you look at the back half of his career, he was...
Well, next
year
will be the 10th and final year for Mr. Wagner.
Yeah. I think he should get in just because of what his accomplishments were. He's literally the most dominant left-handed reliever of the modern kind of era, and the dude was a strikeout king for a lot of things, just pitching one inning when you look at when closers just basically were one inning things. So I think he should get in, but then again, I'm not a writer that's going to be voting for this, so who knows what they think next year. Maybe they're like, I don't feel like voting him this year. And he loses more and falls off again, which would be kind of a shame for a guy that actually had a pretty good career as a closer.
Correct.
So
okay,
we'll see.
To the next topic.
Yeah. All right. So we got a bunch of smaller things. Probably won't be as maybe in depth discussion as the last two, but things that maybe we should cover considering we're called Inside the Hobby. One of them is regarding Card Collector 2. I'll be honest. When I saw this, I'm not really that fond of covering it. Sure, we can cover the existence of it and talk about it briefly, but I don't know. I definitely would not put a whole lot of depth and information, into this. Card Collector 2 was accused, I guess generally, of getting loaded boxes because he was pulling a bunch of great stuff. And a random new Instagram account, who we have no idea who started it, started this BS Instagram account. I say BS. I don't know if it's not BS because there's no evidence behind this. When you make claims, you need some evidence. And Card Collector 2 put out a statement. I'll read it for those people listening and not watching, but he says, a brand new IG account was created recently and posted. They have evidence, in quotations, of emails that I have communicated with Panini for loaded boxes. This is blatantly false. There are no emails and won't be, as it never happened. Not with Panini, Topps, Leaf, etc. I have not one time ever asked for a special/loaded box, nor have I ever willingly received one. Every box we've purchased was either online as a collector or direct through our card shop. Nothing special, nothing backdoored. Must be a slow news week as 2023 wraps up because this is false. So,
is it a slow news week for us because we're now covering it?
I don't.
What that means?
I don't know. Why are we covering? It was my fault. I put it on the whatever.
Blame Frank.
Sure. Could this be true? Yes. Is there any evidence? No. If there is evidence, would I like to see it? Sure. If you have evidence, feel free.
Please
shoot it over to us.
Inside the hobby
show
at gmail.com.
At gmail.com. Yeah, but I don't know. Do you guys care? Is this irrelevant covering this?
I mean, I've had looked into a little bit of this story as well. I don't think there's any evidence either to say that he did do this. The most intriguing thing I found about loaded box conversation, Dan the Cardman covered back about a similar time frame.
Backyard breaks?
No, it was actually an anonymous breaker reached out to him basically stating that they believe Fanatics Topps is sending them loaded boxes. They said, we are not asking for them, but they believe they are sending them. And that Topps knows, or Fanatics knew, which ones had certain hits in it, and therefore, because these guys had a higher view count or whatever it was, they were getting the best cards. Because they were we had unbelievable luck for X amount of time. They allowed Dan to report on it and simply told him, we just want to be anonymous because we are not asking for it and we don't want people to know who we are. We're waving the red flag.
I get it. It's just anybody can do that, and anyone can say that. Yeah. I could create another Instagram account right now and say, Frank is accused of this, but I'm not going to provide any evidence. And then a bunch of people would give me attention or whatever, negative attention, that it would be a pain in the ass. And then, ultimately at the end of the day, then I release a statement, saying, hey, there's no evidence behind this. Show me the evidence. So I don't know.
There's no such thing as bad publicity in some people.
Yeah.
I'm not making a claim saying that this is manufactured. I'm just not making a claim. Period.
I'm just saying that this is just, again, lame.
This is claim without evidence. Okay, let's move on. Does anyone care? I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine. We can move on.
Next.
I don't even know why I put it on here. All right.
I mean, it's a good topic. I think it's still worth talking about because of the fact that if there are loaded boxes going out there, I don't think the breakers are asking for them. But if you're getting loaded boxes and all of a sudden you have a month of just nothing but luck, you're something's weird. Why do we keep getting it all?
It would not surprise me if it came out that there was loaded boxes. I mean, when you have Fanatics opening boxes with sports stars and they're pulling the best product, the best card in the entire product in that break for media marketing purposes.
Yeah.
I mean, give me a break at that point. Like,
It's like Dave Rubin looks around going, I had no idea though Jackie Robinson was in there. Oh my. Like, come on.
Dude, I watched Peyton Manning open a whole bunch of his rookie year in Chrome and not get his own card. So you know what?
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
And
That
tells you.
He opened 8 boxes and he didn't get one of his own cards. He got an auto Ryan Leaf, and you really was sad to be there.
I don't think there are Topps Chrome autographs from 1998 Topps Chrome, by the way. So
it was a redemption.
I don't think there are auto redemptions, but
He
we
held
can look
it up on camera.
Okay, fair enough. We have WWE Bleacher Report article here, and everyone and their mom has heard about this by now. What a cluster. What an absolute disaster.
Can't look at the word Playdate the same again, I'll tell you that.
Did you see the text messages?
I did, I read them.
I read them too.
Read them, took a shower, Lysoled my bathroom afterwards.
Brian, did you read the text messages?
I did not. For me, WWE is not one of my big sports, but like just reading the highlights of it, just kind of like knowing kind of where that's going, it's disgusting and like.
Yeah.
Big question for this
bad.
is what is this going to do for the hobby of like WWE sports, or their cards and values and stuff like that?
Lesnar cards have really dropped. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. That's pretty. That's kind of like the Wander Franco scenario.
Short term, okay. What do you think it's going to matter long term?
The Rock got a seat at the head of the table this week, being on the board of directors. That was Monday, and then Thursday, the Vince McMahon stuff came out last week, and then Saturday was the Rumble. It was like,
which Brock wasn't in,
right? And his replacement supposedly was Pat McAfee.
Okay.
Which really
that doesn't answer that question though. Mm-hmm. Do you think his prices will be affected long term over this? Okay.
Yes.
I'm not sure. I feel like WWE fans are very forgiving. But I mean, look at Hogan, and Hogan is like obviously very racist, but not in public. So. But no one seems to care anymore. Everyone's like, "Yay, Hogan!"
Right. He just turned 75.
And that was another thing that surprised me about this stuff on Vince McMahon is like, Vince is sure he's in good shape for his age, but he's like, what is he like 78 or something now?
88.
And he's 88 years old. Oh my gosh! So all of this was happening when he was at least 75, 76.
Actually, it's been happening since the mid-90s.
Oh, wow.
That has come out.
And
basically, this is what I'm going to say, since I love wrestling. It's one of my favorite things in the world. Does it affect me? No, I'm still watching. But Brock Lesnar products, you got to keep in mind, he's got football cards out there. He's got UFC cards out there. He's got WWE cards out there. It's going to
he has been popular
platforms. Yeah.
From a collector standpoint.
It will affect.
I have plenty of Brocks.
Yeah, me too. And stuff. I even got a Vince McMahon somewhere.
I mean, Vince is a piece of trash. If it's true with Brock, then he's kind of a piece of trash too. So.
But they said there are other wrestlers this is done for too since the mid-90s. Till last year. Wait till those names come out.
I think that one thing that the overwhelming majority of wrestling fans, I don't know about collectors, but just wrestling fans in general, can agree on is that Vince McMahon being out and away from the WWE is probably for the best. He has been heavily criticized for everything from the steroid scandals in the 90s to, awful business practices.
Before the Rumble started, they did the by the numbers thing and showed things on Instagram. They had also on their Instagram, they showed the face of every winner. And 2 winners were already were black on their thing. And one of them was Vince McMahon. The other one was Chris Benoit.
Wait, what? Hold on. I'm not sure.
So their faces were blacked out because like they're probably next on the list. So that's saying Benoit is maybe coming on that list then.
I don't.
They
Wait,
announced
what? What was?
Okay.
So you think they're gonna? You think that they're gonna induct Chris Benoit into the Hall or something?
No.
What was blacked out? I don't get
There's
it.
a list on their Instagram. They had a picture to show every winner, whoever won the Rumble.
Okay, throughout all the different years.
And the Vince McMahon Rumble and the Chris Benoit Rumble had black. Were black.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, they don't want to. They don't want to give him credit. They did the same thing for Hogan originally when his leaked tapes came out of dropping the N-bomb. So, I mean, because he was saying how he really felt.
Right.
But
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know. WWE, is it going to affect the hobby? People are still going to buy
Them moving
WWE
to
cards.
Netflix was my dramatic thing. I now
Oh,
have to get
yeah.
Netflix. I now
Yeah,
have to get Netflix.
that happened right after that Netflix too. Right after the announcement.
Well, there
That's
was a
wild.
There was a Netflix announcement, then it was the Rock announcement, then there's Vince McMahon, then it was the Rumble. I mean, it was just traumatic all week for me, man.
So
Yeah.
what you're saying is with The Rock being on the board, we should be having as many The Rock cards because pretty soon he's just going to own everything in the world.
Pretty much, and he's going to beat Roman Reigns.
People have been waiting for that for years.
And now that there's talk of Cody not facing Roman at the WrestleMania now, that was brought up on Monday night.
Well, WWE's had their hands full over the last 2 weeks. Let's
They need to spin it to something new.
yeah, they do. They need to make something happen. The CM Punk hasn't been enough to gloss over everything.
He's hurt. He's now out for maybe the rest of the year.
that happened too. So
yeah, this is just a traumatic time for me. I need prayers. I need sympathy right now. This is just killing my.
Hey, you know what? You get to see a perfect example of all of the writers and the quality of the writers because they have to scramble to fix things at the last minute. So, may turn out to be one of the greatest or one of the worst experiences for the WWE Universe history.
Prayers
we
right
will
now, man.
we
That's
will
all
find
I'm asking
out.
for is prayers.
Be very cool to see how that changes.
Moving on, the big game. I don't know if we can call it the Super Bowl. Are we gonna get sued from the NFL for calling it Super Bowl?
No.
Or we got to call it the big game. But
You mean
yeah.
the Puppy Bowl that's going on? Because I'm into those Dalmatians in the Puppy Bowl this year.
Well, this year we
It
have.
is Dalmatians versus kitties.
Okay, that's cool. I'd watch that. But here we have Taylor Swift versus Mr. Irrelevant. So, I figured
You really
this
should
would
call Travis Kelce that, man.
this
Seriously.
would be an interesting chance for us to predict who we think is going to win. Maybe even throw out a score. And also then discuss who on these teams will be affected positively in the hobby with a Super Bowl win, maybe even status change. Like, I think Patrick Mahomes is already a guaranteed Hall of Famer. I think if he were to win another Super Bowl, that would make him a first ballot Hall of Famer with 2 Super Bowl wins.
He's a
So
first
that's
ballot no matter as it is.
You think he's first ballot no matter what already, huh? Mm-hmm. Okay.
He has
He-
3 rings.
No, he only has 2. He's been there 3 times.
Oh, true. But he'll have his 3rd.
Fourth now. He's fourth time there now because he's got
fourth,
2 and
because
1 in the Super Bowl.
So do you think it's anybody's game, or do you think you have a winner, Nicole?
I am going to go Chiefs. I do not think the Niners. I think Purdy is going to fall.
Okay.
He doesn't have the experience of this big of a game.
Do you have
and a
any idea on an expected score?
I'm going to go 30-20.
Okay. All right, Brian, what do you think?
I think it's going to be Chiefs as well. Niners have all that talent that's there. Like, they're bound to get it here sooner or later. But there's just something about Mahomes and the Chiefs. Their Chiefs defense has been playing really well. I do think when it comes to like this is the one that he's going to be fighting for the most, because he gets this one and he's legitimately the only person that has a chance to go for Brady of what Brady's done. And then essentially you have the conversation of like, you know, Tom Brady obviously is looked at as the greatest of all time for this hobby right now, and you know, we're looking at like what do you do with his collection, and everybody wants Purdy to be the next one there, but Mahomes has literally been to 4 Super Bowls now in his 5 years playing.
Dominant force. He has been a dominant force. So do you have a score?
I'm gonna say 24-17.
Okay, all right. I was going to say the Chiefs. I kind of like want to say the 49ers just to be different from you two, but I realistically, I got to be honest with myself. I'm going to say 35-27 Chiefs. And we can also then quickly discuss what are the main players here. Are they going to get any bump if they win a Super Bowl? So, Kansas City, do we think...
Can I just bring up one other thing?
Sure,
who did the Niners lose to 3 years ago in the Super Bowl?
The Chiefs.
I don't think... I think that's irrelevant at this point. The 49ers,
it's almost
49ers are a
but
completely different team.
I'm saying it's mostly the same people.
I mean, the leadership,
I don't think
is
so.
the same. Shanahan and Lynch
completely different offensive line, different coaches on the 49ers side.
Didn't have McCaffrey.
Yeah, they didn't have McCaffrey. They didn't. Obviously, there was no Purdy. They didn't have Debo. They didn't have.
I said the Chiefs are almost the same from 3 years.
Well, except for their offensive line and their defense. Like the only people, and their wide receivers, I guess. Who exists? Right. Who's still on the Chiefs besides Mahomes and Kelsey? Like is
Chris Jones.
Chris Jones.
I was going to say Nick Bolton.
But, I mean, Hill's gone.
Any big names are gone from the Chiefs for this time around. It's a different team.
And one thing to note about the Chiefs here is the Chiefs, that when they lost that Super Bowl, is because their offensive line was just absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
You know, due to injury. And I'm pretty sure they're looking real good right now, and their offensive line seems pretty healthy.
But would you think of it as a rematch for the Niners from 3 years ago? This match?
I don't, because it's a completely different team.
Yeah, I think the only guys that are going to say that are going to be the guys like Kittle and Nick Bosa that were
check maybe.
Yeah, it's going to be like some of those guys that are on the defensive side that have been on the team since then. Other than them, like I don't see.
Is Bosa playing? Or is he hurt?
Hurt.
Okay,
that's a big impact for it. Like,
so if we're talking big names, right now, when we look at the market, Mahomes is at the peak of the market. He's ultimately been the highest priced quarterback of the last 10 years, for a good reason, I guess. Do you think him winning another one is going to matter pricing?
Yes,
or do you think that
worse.
because you think it's going to get worse?
I believe it's going to get worse into the unaffordable ranges.
I'm not sure about that either. Look at what happened with Tom Brady. Tom Brady kept winning, and his prices stayed the same, except for his rookies, really. Except for some of his rookies.
Some of the products different from when he was winning from what it is now, though.
There's something about, like, with Brady where, like, I think there's something to be, like, when you look at Jordan, Mantle, some of the guys in the hobby that are, like, the iconics, and they slowly increase every year or dramatically increase due to whatever reason. Each one of those kind of names did something outside of the sport that was, like, majorly impactful. Like, Jordan literally built basketball in the world, is what we kind of seen. Like, the world took off with that, so, like, Brady was great for football. He won so many championships, but
7.
Brady hasn't done anything outside of that. Where like Mahomes still is young and has a chance to be like, what is Mahomes going to do to impact football beyond the United States? How does he make it a global thing?
Tom Brady.
Can he do something?
He's going to be working for Fox next year, and he's calling the Fox Super Bowl next year.
Yeah, that's being a caller.
Crazy.
I don't know.
But it's crazy. It's calling it New Orleans, where he won his first Super Bowl. So it's like he's going back.
Yeah.
He's going full circle there.
I mean, well, let's stay on topic here. So, Mahomes will get a bump if he wins.
Purdy will get a bump.
Kelsey's will. He's already gotten a bump recently because of
Taylor.
the Swifties. And then, do you think, is there anybody else that's like super that would actually get like a relevant bump that's on the Chiefs?
It would be, to me, it's going to be somebody that does something incredible in the game. If they have like some guy that
like a Larry Brown
something.
Cowboys '95 where he had 3 interceptions and then all of a sudden, he was second string the year before and he never did anything. Okay. And then 49ers sake, what?
Purdy will get a bump.
Purdy's way overpriced as it is right now, in my opinion. But
me too.
Very.
But I definitely agree Purdy would get a long-term bump if he won. And, of course, a short as well. But
McCaffrey would get a bump.
Yeah, McCaffrey's had an amazing career that I think if he has a game like he usually does of, 100 yards rushing, 100 yards, 3 or 4 touchdowns, whatever it is, like that's going to probably give him a bump that, as a running back you like to see because running backs typically are, they're a position that like seems to be devalued a little bit, unfortunately, I feel like football is very much resemblant of fantasy football with the prices in the hobby. If you look at it, everybody knows they have to stockpile running backs and receivers, and so you've got all your rosters made up of all of them, and then you got one quarterback, one tight end, and so those positions go up where the running back receivers decline unless they do something great on the big stage. And so McCaffrey, do something great, and maybe your values
Kittle
go
does
up.
Something great.
Kittle. I mean, tight
yeah.
ends are never really that pricey. I mean, even look at the most
and Gronk.
The most popular, Gronk's not even priced that high. But I mean, whatever. Kelsey and Kittle. Kelsey's rookie cards have started to go up, but I mean, tight ends are probably never going to get the love.
You seen what his rookie card is? It's just him holding a football and wearing a T-shirt.
It's ugly.
It's ugly.
He even hates it.
Yeah, he hates it. Yeah, I have a PSA 9 base and chrome and a PSA 8 refractor that I bought both of them for under $12 each back in 2017 or 2018.
Before his dating Kelsey show.
Well before that, yeah. But speaking of receivers, what about 2 guys that maybe they actually do get some love, but Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, I don't see these guys get any love in the hobby at all.
I don't see a lot of Brandon Ayuk cards though.
I mean, both of them have only been in the league for 4 years, 5 years.
But Brandon Ayuk, I don't see a lot of memorabilia cards, autos.
I'm asking, do you think these guys, would it be a relevant bump? They've been both performing well throughout the year, have they not?
Oh yeah, and Debo's a little hurt too, so.
Okay. Nobody really defensive side, nobody cares about Nick Bosa cards.
The only one I was even just looking at is, I know he makes plays every single game, but could Fred Warner do something in the Super Bowl and maybe have a bump because the dude's amazing, but also he's got a cultural thing. Mm-hmm. He's also kind of I forget his background of but he was featured in I saw an NFL video recently, or thought I saw where he was in it and showing his culture background, where his family's from and stuff like that. So they were using his name as one of those the NFL is expanding to other countries kind of a thing. And so if he has a great game,
that's great.
Could he see a bump?
I would like him.
it.
I mean, there's a very unfortunately, he's just a linebacker, and no one in the hobby doesn't care about a linebacker. You know, you look at the greatest linebackers of all time, Ray Lewis and Lawrence Taylor, and their cards, they don't even touch a third-string backup quarterback from, 2006 or something. So,
sad. Like,
value-wise, it is
that.
really
like,
sad.
It would be nice to see these guys actually get a bump in value to actually be worth... Because, like, we talk about Hall of Famers, and, like, we're buying and collecting these guys
Patrick
because
Willis
of the fact
fan.
that they're
There's
great.
a 49ers linebacker.
Fan.
Yeah.
I've, from, like,
Luke
being here
Kuechly
on the West
fan.
Coast... Yeah, exactly.
I love linebackers. But,
I was a
the
big
hobby
Zach
doesn't.
Thomas fan.
And I'm sure this person over here is a Brian Urlacher fan.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that he was, I think he was
First ballot Hall of Famer.
Isn't he kind of like
yes.
racist or something?
First ballot Hall of Famer. That's all I'm gonna say.
But I don't know. All right. So we made our predictions and talked about some of the potential short-term, long-term bumps. Yeah. I don't know.
Well,
it's interesting.
Whoever wins, I think there would be bumps for the whole team, past and present.
Yeah.
Short and long
usually...
term?
No, I said short term. There'll be a bump.
Short term, of course, yeah. Absolutely guaranteed winning team will see bump in sales.
Last year
short
when Kansas
term.
City won, I sold a bunch of 80s Kansas City cards all of a sudden.
Nice.
Good. Glad you got rid of them because nobody wants those.
Correct. Correct.
Maybe
not unless you want them, you can buy them
Christian
on my
Okoye
site.
rookie in '88, but all right, let's move on. We have 2 mailbags here. The first one, and both of these are in reference to episode 2's interesting story on everyone's favorite Eric Michael MLP.
Scumbag of the hobby.
So we had discussed that we have to make mistakes in order to learn from our mistakes and things like that. Well, the homie Trading Frames, shout outs to him, sent us a comment on YouTube. Agreed, we all make mistakes in the hobby, but we all learn from the mistakes to do better as a seller and collector. For this guy to scam people for having a passion in cards and collecting is a buzzkill for the industry. Everything you can learn from his course, you can learn from other influencers who upload free YouTube videos. And YouTube has so many videos on buying, selling, shipping, listing, etc. You just have to take the step in and get involved and learn from mistakes and or learn from others in the hobby. I agree. Thoughts?
That's a hell of a comment. He nails it all on the head there of he's basically saying, do your research. Don't just stop at the first ad you see. I love that because that's exactly what you want people to do is don't click on the sponsored stuff. It's there because some jackass paid to put it up there. Just scroll a little further. There's more down there because these guys, all they want is your money. And once they got your money, they don't care about what you're going to do. And so that's all. It's a shame that we have to cover these guys all the time.
I think that should be our new feature, Scumbag of the Week.
Yeah.
Happy Scumbag of the Week.
I know I did it originally as a joke when we filmed it, but with the whole Scumbag of the Week thing. But hey, it's a possibility. Yeah, hit the nail right on the head there. Couldn't have said it better myself. If someone claims that they know better, you probably don't want to listen to those people. So, but thanks for the comment, Trading Frames. And we also had another comment. This is from thehobbyboards.com. I had posted about the Eric Michael MLP over there. And Mind Cycle, shout outs to him. Great dude. Creator of thehobbyboards.com. He replied to me with, "Oh man, don't get me started on this guy, lol." I log into IG, Instagram, maybe 1 or 2 times a week at this point, and if I scroll even a little, I inevitably get hit with 1 to 2 paid ads for this dude's scam system. If you catch it quick enough, you can find some pretty hilarious comments on his ad posts before he scrubs them. Which is funny because Brian pointed that out to us before we filmed the episode that oh, hey, look, there's a couple comments here, but wait, watch tomorrow, they'll be gone or something.
Yep.
And sure
Funny
enough,
I blocked all of his ads after we did the show and blocked everything so I would stop. They popped through again somehow.
oh geez,
And they're on Facebook is where I was getting them again, and the comments are open again.
oh,
And it is unloading, and they're the last one I saw 157 comments. So
wow.
if you're on Facebook
should've
and you
linked me
want to
to
get
that.
some funny stuff to read, join some groups on Facebook of sports cards, and you'll certainly get some ads of his.
Were there
and just
lots
read
of
'em.
laugh emojis on the post?
Showed up in the Women of the Hobby group.
It is a lot of sarcasm
you-
of people just saying, "Oh, so you have to buy and grade." Oh, okay, I see. It's tons of sarcasm. Oh, wait, you use eBay to buy cards? That's very interesting. It is all sarcasm.
Has he
It
also
is
about the touching cards too?
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
and
you don't have to
touching
touch.
cards and.
You said you brought it up to Women of the Hobby or whatever.
Actually, he showed up with a post in our group
Okay, and
about
any
about seeing if anyone would be interested in his seminar.
oh
He's doing.
oh wait, so he was promoting it in the Women of the Hobby group. Ugh.
Oh wow, he's
desperate.
I mean, he's got to keep that pyramid growing, man. He's got to keep it. It's the pyramid. A couple layers fell off.
One of the admins of the Women of the Hobby cut him out.
Good.
Actually, it was fun.
Good.
It lasted a whole 4 hours until they saw it.
So
my favorite comment I read, though, I forgot to mention this. My favorite was someone was trying to defend him, saying they were actually bought his program. And they said, I just got back my first submission, and I had X amount of 10s, and they said they had 15 PSA 9.5s. And I was like, huh, never heard of a PSA 9.5 before.
PSA 9.5. Your PSA did used to do half grades, by the way.
Yeah,
But I don't think they've done them in a long time.
I was going to say, that's not a thing of theirs for however long.
I got a 7.5 recently.
They do from 8.5, I think, on down still, but it's very rare.
PSA
but
will
9
add
and
a half point
is
grade within each of the 1 to 10 numbers, with the exception of a 9.5. So they won't do a 9. They'll do a 0.5 on everything except for a 9.5.
Interesting. So he's got imaginary grading.
Yeah, of course.
Which makes you wonder,
It's
okay,
bullshit.
so you remember you have to submit them to his person, so are they just slabbing him with a PSA slab?
Maybe they got themselves an ultrasonic welder and found a place in China to recreate those PSA slabs.
The interesting thing is where can we find these to buy them and see if they're authentic or not?
Oh, I'm so over talking about this guy. All right. But
Thank you for watching this week's In the Side.
I think that's it. Is there anything else we want to mention? Leave your comments on social media. We will put your comment on the mailbag for the future episode. But
and always thank you for everyone who comes up to me at the shows and says stuff. I find it funny and cool.
Yeah,
thank you for all
guys
the
for
support.
any feedback you guys provide us. It's very informative, and like you said, anything we've covered you want us to have more information on, you got the email, you can send it to us. Comment down below, let us know. We'll be happy to share your info and talk about it more if you want us to.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. Y'all have a great rest of day.
Bye.
Night, whatever.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.